Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's the Mac, and welcome back to another showcase here of a Wargame design studio game, John Tiller legacy game, Modern Campaigns. Right, so Danube Front, sorry, this one's called Modern Battles, Modern Campaigns, Danube Front 85. Yeah, so we're gonna have a look at this game today and see what that's all about. So many of you guys know like Panzer campaigns. You could basically say that the Modern Campaigns is how to say it, a mirror image of Panzer campaigns, but of course with some quite significant differences. Not when it comes to the actual game system and moving units and travel mode and stacking and moving and taking objectives and all that and fighting. I mean, the mechanics of the game. But, of course, take into account of the 1985 technology, which was like 40 years after the end of World War II. A lot of stuff happened. The Cold War and all that. So, let's have a look at the website first. So, Modern Campaigns. This is what they got at the moment. They haven't actually... These are all from the previous John Tiller software catalog. There's no new titles yet, but there probably will be in the future, who knows. And there will probably be some improvements. I mean, all these titles have gone through that 4.0 upgrade, as we've seen on every single title on Wargame Design Studios page. And these titles also have gotten that high resolution and other tweaks that came with that 4.0 patch. Right, so right off the bat here, we got Danube Front 85, which we're going to be covering today, and they got Fulda Gap 85 and North German Plain 85. These titles have a big thing in common, of course, and they also have Korea 85 and the Middle East 67. These will be covered probably in the future on the channel, but we're going to be sticking to the Danube Front. Yeah. Interesting title, this. All three very interesting, since they actually covered the same theater, but there's three different titles. Now, you might wonder, why should I get three different titles of the same game? Well, if you ask me, I'm kind of a rookie. I don't really have the answer. But I do know that many people recommend the Danube Front 85 because this has sort of parts of the other games in it. I haven't actually played the other ones, so I can't actually say anything for a fact what actually comes with those games. But what I've heard and what people have written in forums and my gaming buddies and stuff, basically you have much of what's covered in the others in this title. Now, my guess is that I guess the Fulda Gap and the North German Plain, they will have a lot more scenarios, I guess, and perhaps, not sure though, a more extensive OOB and more of a detailed study of the actual theaters and areas of conflict there. And this one has also a lot of work. We're going to be diving into the folder and have a look at it. There's tons of work gone into these, as always in all the games from Wargame Design Studios. So, what's it all about? Well, it's the Cold War. It's 1985. It's the height of the Cold War, and both the U.S. and the USSR are armed to the teeth with the latest technology of the time. There's nuclear warheads pointing at each other. There's chemical warfare. At least the USSR had a lot of chemical warfare, like bombs and stuff. I think the NATO countries also had some stuff, but it's not really official. But I think they would have had some stuff left there, just in case. Right, so you can all pause the video and have a read here what's all about there. Cool features in this game. There's like 94 scenarios. There's quite a lot of content actually, and quite a lot of campaigns, sort of long scenarios that you would translate into actual campaigns, because some of them are like, most of them, the biggest ones are like 160, 170 turns, covering many, many weeks of fighting. So you can have a look at this. Go into the folder here. Right, so what's it look like when you install it? You get all the stuff, all the scenarios, the same deal. Let's have a look at notes first. It's always the first actual PDF you should read when you get these games, to get a good understanding of what the hell is going on and why they did it, and all the research and all the goodies. It's all in the notes. So it says back in 2002, John Taylor decided to create an offshoot of the Panzer Campaign series called Modern Campaign. So it's all way back in the early 2000s there. And they've got the Middle East, I think was the first one that came out. And then they followed the Gap, and the others came close by there. So it was a long project. I have actually skimmed through this text. I haven't read it in great detail, but I have read most of it. And it tells you basically how it came about, and the research, and what people were involved. And there was a big issue about the map, how big it should be, what it should cover, and if it could be transferred between the titles. And there was a lot of work that went into that, and meticulous research and detail to get them as accurate as possible there. And goes on here about lots of stuff that I have no idea. I'm not that of an expert on the Cold War, actually. But a lot of interesting stuff that went on there. Lots of preparation, and some pretty badass big armies that was ready to strike at the moment's notice. So it's pretty dangerous times. If that war had kicked off, it would have been end of days, I guess. It would have been pretty bad with all those nukes and powerful weapons at the time. So they got something, the chemical weapon rules is new. They have tactical nuclear weapons. There's actually some really good scenarios to play to get to understand how that actually works in the game. And they have the helicopter issue it's been a big debate apparently, how they've been used. Many people have been using them as sort of found a glitch in the game to use them as a cheat. You put them up in front of units, and you couldn't actually fire on them. They were like blocking units, and they could. So there's been a lot of research in that, and they've implemented a lot of new optional rules to actually eliminate, like this blocking helicopter elimination there, to actually try to prevent these flaws, you would say, in the game system that could be used by not so serious gamers, I guess. And there's lots of stuff about scenarios, the general, the feedback they got and stuff, and how they formed them out. So that's cool. And here's the whole scenario list. It's pretty extensive. So you can see the introductory here and rules. They got this. These are really good to play through. I've actually played through these to get the feel of the game and understand the mechanics. And it's deadly as hell. Wow, the casualties you can take, and the amount of stuff you can dish out is pretty devastating. So they got blowing bridges, they got building bridges, the old classic, even from Panzer campaigns you do this. And the weapons of mass destruction there. So here you get a lot with this game. I mean, you many hours of gaming here. You got longer and larger full battles. We're going to look at that in the game, and then you have shorter, more manageable sized battles, a shitload, and a lot that's been actually made for head-to-head play, which is great, because that's where you'll get your biggest challenge, Plague versus another gamer there. And here's like a description. These are actually in the game as well. They released a where is that? That's actually on the website. I think it was they released this. updated the modern campaign scenarios. You can go into the news, and there's actually download links for the games. So the actual, if you look at the game here, if you click this scenario, for instance, all this is here. The scenario description, the recommended rules, how they were meant to be played, designer notes, all that's in here now. It wasn't like that before. It was just basically scenario description, and you had to dive into the folder there to understand what rules to use and how they... It's all here now, so that's a lot more manageable. Of course, always good, the good old manual. Gotta have a look at that. So it's basically, I mean, there's some new stuff, of course. You got choppers, you got more advanced artillery, you got anti-guided tank missiles, you got like these airstrikes are pretty devastating. You got SAM, you got radars. So all that stuff is like built into the game. So lots of things to take in consideration. You see, they get the time scale is a bit different. I think it's like 3 hours a turn now. It varies though. It could be 2 hours in some. And it's about a mile across the hexes there. You got lots of good information about units, all the normal zone controls, stacking, reinforcements, all that. They explain the night rules. All this is not that much new if you are very like familiar with Panzer campaigns. You have sort of a similar situation going on. Yeah, really, of course, very good manual as usual. They do have some. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so the individual chemical nuclear weapons. Yeah, see here, you can have actual soldiers carrying around nuclear weapons. It's pretty dangerous. Guided missile weapons, all that stuff. Yeah, they have usually it's artillery that fired these nukes, and that could only some were actually able to do it. And you have a new sort of type of a dialogue that you can actually choose what kind of weapon you will fire. I guess there's like an unwritten law in the game that if you start using nukes, your opponent will use nukes as well. So whoever starts using it will also have it on the receiving end. So it's it's a decision to be made, I guess. You can play with it off as well if you find it too overpowering, or you find it just you could play without nukes as well, which would probably make sense. It would probably be the very last thing to do. It would be firing nukes at each other. Engineers, they got there should be something about the choppers. Maybe I've already passed it, I'm not sure. Yeah, you got air power, the airstrikes, carpet bombing. You got reconnaissance, air interdiction, SAM interception. Yeah, this is kind of new. So your planes can be intercepted by SAM units, probably shot down or had to retreat. Command features. See if I can get into the. So those are just the additional features here. Yeah, but there's things about choppers as well. I'm going to do a let's play, and then when things show up, we're going to go through it, and especially optional rules and stuff. So all this is here we go. What's this? Supply. Yeah. So supply, of course, is important as always. You got fuel. Same thing going on there. yeah, good old manual there. Good stuff. What else comes in the folder? You've got. That's if you want to do your own scenarios and modding and changing units and stuff. All that always comes with the titles from the Wargame Designs. All the titles are meant that you can create your own scenarios and share with your gaming buddies or your friends, whatever. Right, so they got these are pretty cool. Like some of these old in NATO layer cake defenses. They've got like invasion routes for the Warsaw Pact there. There was another. They have a placement map. What's this? Look at this. Pretty cool. With the different brigades and divisions, airfields. They got the planning map if you want to print it out yourself and plan where you're going to be moving your forces and stuff. It's pretty cool. So let's get back into the game here. Right, so the first couple of scenarios here are all, these are really good. Yeah, the getting started is actually really good as well. Really good one here to learn the ropes of the game. So the first one is just covering a small attack and an assault across the river there to take out some West German units, and you are in charge of a pretty big force doing that attack there. So this is really good to play through, of course, to understand some of the new mechanics of the game. And they got the blowing bridges and building bridges and weapons of mass destruction there, as we saw in the manual. Right. So when it comes to there's some really interesting campaigns or huge scenarios in this game. We got West Germany, 161 turns, man. Yeah. So it's really clearly written now. They got this one is intended for head-to-head, the alternate version there. This one is intended for the Warsaw Pact versus the AI. And so is that. That's an alternate version of that. This one is intended for head-to-head. So is that. So there's only one really versus the AI that you. Well, there's two versions. There's the alternate version as well. But you're going to be playing the Warsaw Pact there. They got the Danube front. So West Germany. So this one here is the Land Forces Central Army Group and the Northern Army Group were a single large group of the free world's military power on Earth, comprising all the West German military and NATO. Also boasted the cream of the British Army in the British Army of the Rhine and the US there. Facing them were 9 full armies of the troops of the Soviet Union, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. Over 500,000 men, 50,000 tanks. Jeez, you can what? It's nuts. So it tells you a bit of the what's going on in these certain scenarios there. You got the Danube front. So this one takes out Czechoslovakian borders there. So this is the resolute troops of the Warsaw Pact Central Group, 2 Soviet armies and 2 Czechoslovakian armies, plus the southern elements of the GSFG. Tens of thousands of men, tanks and guns and aircraft filled bases on both sides of the portion of the Iron Curtain there. So they got that. Danube front there. They got Danube front 80. These are a shorter version if you don't want to play those huge ones. So that's definitely an option. 47 turns, I mean, that's doable. Then you have the Danube front Austria. This is the, this is a hypothetical, of course, they all are, but if they would attack through Austria. So that's interesting as well. And Bad Kissingen, of course. Forward bases there. They have a lot of versions of that, and they have head-to-head versions, Ardennes. So that's interesting as well. Coburg, Berlin, and they have Austria again. So they have lots of. It's all divided down into smaller scenarios that's more doable to play. And you have the AF North, Würzburg, Pforzheim. You see, there's quite a lot here. And this, the Bolt Out of the Blue. This is a pretty cool, well-researched campaign of huge scenarios, 176 turns. It's actually a very popular campaign that has been revised now and updated with the newest implements of the game. So there's actually some separate documentation covering this. They have the Bolt of handbook, and here is like a the new what they have made in this new update. So they removed something from the map there. They added small supply hex of Soviet airborne troops, a more adjustable organization, chemical ranger strategy. There's lots of stuff here, but it's very interesting. This it's like you get a whole handbook here that tells you the whole story of what actually is happening here. The Bolt Out of the Blue was like a code word for the Warsaw forces there, and they have like, it's really quite deep research here. They have house rules, no using SSMs or to deliver mines. They have the optional rules, but of course we can agree on different rules. Here are some like changes over the vanilla and why. Lots of information here. This is really cool. I'm going to be playing this sometime. Not on the channel though. It will take about 1,000 episodes probably. But this looks really cool and well researched. And I have read on some forums that people are really into this. This is supposed to be really good. I guess it would be the best to play versus a human opponent, but you probably could play it versus the AI as well. So look at all this, man. There's so much stuff here that they've written for you to really immerse yourself into this Bolt Out of the Blue here, and added some pretty cool pictures and lots of explanation here. So the end, boom. So and strategy tips on what to think of and how to actually be successful in this. So this looks really promising and fun that they've actually included, and this is on top of all the other campaigns that comes with the game. So I really like this. So the designer is Zaron. There's new graphics by Michael there. Designer is Aaron. He maybe calls himself Zaron. 5.3 there. So pretty good stuff there. Yeah, so I'm going to be playing one of these scenarios just to showcase it. Not sure yet. I'm going to have to decide what to play. If you guys want to see something that you just see me scroll through here, let me know. Type in the comments and stuff. Let's just open it up. I mean, we could have a look at the scope of this thing here. So West Germany Alt. What is that? That's intended to head-to-head, okay. But for instance, this one here is intended for Warsaw Pact versus the AI there. So 4 decades, the armies east and west had faced each other from across the inter-German border. Though initially allies, these forces had long ago become bitter rivals, each prepared to enter mortal combat with the other if need to be. The armies of NATO consist of I think I read that before, West German and military. Also boasted the cream of the British Army, of the Rhine and the finest of the U.S. Army in Fifth and Seventh Corps, and the pick of the Dutch, Belgian, French, and Danish Canadian forces as well. Faced them with the Warsaw Pact of 9 full armies, 50,000 tanks there, geez. All that remained was the crisis to arise and the order of war to be given. So in summer 85, that crisis arrived. The USSR launched its berserker strategy of attack from garrison, depending on complete surprise to gain the initial crucial advantage over NATO. Through Fulda Gap, Hof and Cheb Gaps, and across the North German plain, and the Red forces surged, catching the West Guardians unprepared. In the far south, 3 armies drove from Munich. In the upper south, 2 armies drove towards Frankfurt and the heart of West Germany. In the mid-north, 3 armies crashed across the watery and wooded landscape towards the Ruhr and Netherlands. While in the far north, 2 armies drove for Denmark. World War III in Europe had begun, and the fate of the Western Alliance hung in the balance. This is a special campaign that combines Fulda Gap 85, North German Plain 85, and Af North mod, Berlin mod, and Danube 85. So it's a huge one here. They got all this stuff in here. Recommended rules are the default. An explicit supply can be used for this scenario. Right? So just fire it up and see what it looks like here. So going to be a spoiler here. We're going to have a look at both forces. Why not? Pretty big one here. So, okay, strategy decision time reached. Right, so you're going to have to choose like what strategy. So the naval Spetsnaz. So you can choose if they're going to raid Copenhagen off map, 0 reinforcements, or Schleswig-Holstein corridor, 3 reinforcements, or raid Schleswig-Holstein Corps headquarters, 3 reinforcements. All right, let's raid Copenhagen. Why not? And then you have GSFG Spetsnaz. What's their strategy? Headquarters airfield raids, reinforcements interdiction, support to GTA as main attack, or I mean, be part of the main attack, I guess. So let's raid headquarters in the airfields. Why not? So reinforcements have arrived. All right. So okay, you get to do even more. All right. Operation. Double click to view. Support the first main attack. Headquarter airfield raids. Bridges at Staubling and Wieshofen. So you can double click. All right. So you get to see where they're going to be arriving, I guess. Okay, that's cool. I like it. I like it. So where's this? Okay, so they're going to be arriving with choppers there, I guess. Okay. Well, I don't know. Right now, I'll just click on something here. Let's go for headquarters and airfields. Why not? Okay. So, wow, look at all this. This is a pretty big scenario, though. Persistent chemical ammo available 12. Non-persistent chemical ammo 32. Nuclear ammunition available 12. Artillery mine ammunition 40. Okay. One of 161 there. So it kicks off at 6 in the morning, the 10th of June, 1985. Warsaw Pact. All right, zoom out here. So this is the whole thing. Look at this. This is a massive map. Yeah. So you have, let's have a look at the, yeah, you got Austria in the south here. Salzburg. Danube, the river there. These are the all the Warsaw Pact armies coming from the west there. I mean from the east, sorry. Regensburg goes up here. Wow, it's huge. This is a max zoom out as well. It's massive here. Wow, playing this would be pretty big. undertaking here. This must be the north here. You got some British units here. Bremen, Hamburg. Yeah, look at this. Pretty big city there, Hamburg. Here comes the forces in there. Some pretty powerful armies. And it goes up Kiel. And got Denmark in the north. Some Danish units here, man. M41s. And they have implemented the crisp 2D zoom there. Even 3D zoom out and 3D zoom in there. So not too bad. Sort of looking a lot like the other titles. Yeah. So you have the jump map. Massive. Kassel. Here's Fulda. Good US forces there. Here's some Spetsnaz troops. You have attack helicopters, the Mi-24 there. So what they move in travel mode and fight like that. Here we have those Spetsnaz troops. Morale A. Pretty badass troops there. You have some pretty big battalion here. Armored battalion, 56 vehicles. Yeah, the M60 there. Support artillery there. Yeah, pretty cool. Zoom out a bit. For instance, look at this. What's this? That's Berlin, yeah. Wow, they got the Berlin here. These Allied Control Commission. You get some French forces there. Some French forces. Some American forces. Get the British forces in the north here. Engineers. Royal Highlanders. Chieftains. Good tanks there. Here you have Grenzkommando Mitt. East German troops here. I think these guys are 6th Motorized Rifle Brigade. $525 men in those regiments. It's pretty big. So it's going to be a battle here of Berlin, probably. We've got reinforcements coming in here now. Yeah, so it's great detail, as you can see. There is a lot of stuff here. So in the south here, we've got the Austrians here. M41s. Here comes the Russians. We have the 31st Guard Tank Division here, man. Look at the size of this thing. It's huge. recon vehicles. You have those BRDM2s. You have the BRMs. Engineers. And you have the T-62 tanks. Yeah, some pretty cool units. You have attack helos. T-72 tanks. 31 there. Wow. It's a pretty badass force lined up here. And of course, reinforcements and stuff coming in. Pretty lightly defended here. They got bunkers at their disposal here, but these are defense turrets. Yeah. Some reactionary forces here, some tanks. Not that much. The Austrians can throw into the fight here. You have some forces in the south here. Division West. Yeah. Very nice. Right. So we're going to be picking something to play. Not really sure what yet. But something that sounds interesting. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have questions and stuff, just write in comments. We'll try and include that in the forthcoming episodes there. So like and subscribe, and we'll dive into this game. And there's more stuff coming up soon on the channel as well. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next. Have a good one.